Hey, happy Thursday. Watch this video if you want to know the difference between a trigger, between an unwanted emotion, and a sabotaging pattern. Shana here, personal development coach. I run a group, Live Free, Lead Boldly, and I'm very interactive in this group, and I see a lot of questions. And the most common questions are people wondering what is the difference between a trigger, an unwanted emotion, and a sabotaging pattern. So keep watching if you want to know the difference and if you want a simple solution. So it's very, very simple. A trigger is something that reacts in your body because of a certain situation, and you react in a way you don't want to react. Now, the trend has it going that a trigger is something that's a violent reaction. So for example, you become angry or you become like shoutful or in the face. No. That's a trend. An actual trigger is responding in a way you don't want to respond. So for example, it could be that somebody is confronting you with a certain situation, and instead of responding to that person or to that situation, you step back and you ignore the situation. But in actual fact, what you want to do is confront the situation. So a trigger is an emotion that triggers you because of a situation. And it could be that you get angry, so it could be that you hit the table, or it could be that you lash out, or it could be that you don't confront the situation, it could be that you become anxious, it could be that you do everything that you don't want to be doing, right? So this is a very common trend that people think that triggers are something that's a violent act, and it's a reactive and a strong reactive emotion. No, it's not. It can be anything that makes you triggered in your body, and it makes you respond or react in a way that you don't want to be reacting in. So that's a trigger. So that's what happens. Like, you can feel it in your body, right? Your body starts becoming on fire, or your heart is pumping, or you start shaking. We get these different sensations in our body. And the reason why that is happening, because our amygdala is being triggered. Now, the amygdala is the fight or flight or freeze response. So when a situation happens and we get triggered, the amygdala starts firing off, and we either fight, flee, or freeze. So that is what a trigger is. And it doesn't have to be an angry emotion. A trigger can be anxiety. So it can be also a softer emotion. An unwanted emotion. What is an unwanted emotion? That is something that you keep on living with and you don't want it. It's an unwanted emotion. You're living in a state of depression constantly. You're always sad. You're always seeing the negative side of things. You're living in a state of feeling fearful. Everyone's out to get you. You're living in a state of unhappiness, anxiety, anger, resentment, unforgiveness. It's an emotion, right? It's an unwanted emotion that keeps on recurring in your life. It's not triggered, it's just recurring. You wake up and you feel, oh my gosh, I'm just so tired, I'm so drained, I'm burnt out. It's an emotion that just makes you feel not where you want to be. So that is an unwanted emotion. And what is a sabotaging pattern? A sabotaging pattern is anything that sabotages our life. So it could be the constant need to want to go out and drink, the constant need to take that bump, that constant need to go and gossip, to lie, to white lie, to procrastinate, the constant need to have everything perfect, and you won't move on until everything is perfect. And that's obviously a sabotaging pattern, because you're not moving along in your life, and it's sabotaging yourself. So sabotaging patterns are patterns that we do and that we get ourselves into that we don't want to be doing, right? So those are the 3 different topics that I have noticed a lot of people ask in my group, or they ask what's the difference between a trigger, an unwanted emotion, and a sabotaging pattern, and I thought to bring it up over here. So, what is a solution for these 3? The trigger, the unwanted emotion, the sabotaging pattern. Now, obviously, it's not just a one-time fix, and you're going to be like, oh yes, the solution's there. I'll fix my trigger, my unwanted emotion, and my sabotaging pattern. But the solution is, number one, awareness. You know, I've worked with so many people, and people as well from the group, they just say, oh, I'm not even aware of what my trigger is, or what my unwanted emotion is, or what my pattern is. How can you fix something that you don't know is affecting you? So number 1, it's to be self-aware. And when we become self-aware, we liberate ourselves, and we start becoming happier, and we start living a life that we want to be living. And we start, like if something had to happen, we could just say, yes, I lived that life. So the solution to the trigger, the unwanted emotion, the sabotaging pattern is number 1, self-awareness. After that, we need to embrace. Yep, embrace. Embrace the trigger, embrace the unwanted emotion, embrace the sabotaging pattern. We need to be okay with what we were doing. To be not okay with what we were doing. We need to accept it, right? Gotta be like, oh, I never did that. Let's just use me as a sabotaging pattern. My sabotaging pattern was drinking. I used to love my drinking, whether it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Give me a drink. And then I'd wake up hungover, and then not will I wake up hungover. And oh my gosh, what not? I'd never be on my A game. You know how it is when you drink too much. And that was my sabotaging pattern. So I had to become aware of the situation, and after I was aware of the situation, I had to embrace it and accept it. And then after I embraced and I accepted it, I released it. Yes, I consciously released it, and there are so many different practices and practices that you can do to release certain emotion triggers and sabotaging patterns. And then number 3, the solution to get rid of the trigger, the unwanted emotion, the sabotaging pattern, after you become self-aware, after you embrace it and you release it, is new foundations. You change the foundation. If every Thursday at 5 o'clock you went there and you went to go reach for your wine, every day at 5 o'clock, on a Thursday, every Thursday at 5 o'clock you went to go and reach for your wine, you're going to create a new habit, a new foundation, a new action for you to replace it. I replace it with walks and hiking and then swimming and then this and then that and then before you know, you don't even have to replace it. It just becomes a natural habit. So, why did I talk about this? Because I get so many people asking me, Shan, what's the difference? Trigger, unwanted emotion, self-sabotaging. Now, if you do experience any of these 3 and you want to, start working on them, and you want some trainings, I have a group, Live Free, Lead Boldly. The link is in my bio. Just join the group, and over there I do free workshops, free trainings. I interview different coaches in the health industry as well. And also I do workshops. I run workshops, and the workshops are interactive. So we take uncomfortable action. Yes, I said it. I said uncomfortable action. That's what we're going to do. If you want to break a trigger or an unwanted emotion or a self-sabotaging pattern, you're going to have to take uncomfortable action to get comfortable. And then you know what? You become addicted to being uncomfortable. Yes, it's a It's a thing. You can be addicted to always wanting to challenge yourself, and then you're gonna have to break that pattern. But that's okay, because that's a good pattern to break. Alrighty. So if this sounds like you, if you have any triggers, unwanted emotions, sabotaging patterns, and you want any help with that, just join my group. Live freely, boldly. Alrighty. Have a super blessed day.